One of the best parts of thinking of your career this way is it allows you to get out of debt, develop skills, and pressure test those skills in the marketplace over a 15-year stretch.
This is why, despite the growing media infatuation with entrepreneurship, we don't go so far as to completely write off the importance of jobs.
By and large, well-paying jobs are a good thing and are the primary providers of income for millions of families across the country.
But at the same time, jobs are designed to be temporary.
Companies have an obligation to innovate,
grow revenue,
and reduce costs. And history has taught us that this often comes at an inconvenience to workers.
The spirit of cashing out is one that recognizes the bigger picture here
and ensures you aren't left hanging without the ability
to support yourself.
The 15-year career. So I think the most surprising thing with people's reactions to the 15-year career, to the idea of a 15-year career, has been how receptive they've been. I think when we started writing this 2 years ago, this was one of the more extreme ideas in the book, where we were telling people to let go of this illusion of lifetime employment and adopt something that is time-bound and very focused. And as we've been interacting with readers, they not only identify with the concept, they know exactly where they are. They know they're in years 6 through 10 and are already finding their superpower. They've established their side hustle. They're looking for jobs. Some of them are working 2 remote jobs at the same time. So they're all just kind of in it.
You know, what's been really interesting is gauging people's reactions when they read that particular chapter. I think the first thing is that they start to place themselves along that timeline. It's like the idea just kind of snaps and then they immediately start to say, oh, I'm in year 4 or I'm in year 11.
Even on the employer side, it's an idea that they welcome. We're starting to talk to HR managers and recruiters and thinking about how they can structure paths within organizations to follow a 15-year trajectory.
Because it goes to show just how quickly an idea can be grasped and how normal it seems, particularly given the times that we're in.
And so I just think I'm excited about this idea that we can change the way that people look at careers and help them financially along the way.
So the 15-year career can be broken up into 3 sprints or phases.
The first 5 years are really focused on you establishing a really healthy financial foundation. So if you have debt, if you have a large savings goal, maybe you want to buy a house or move across the country, you are focused on building the financial habits that help you achieve those goals, help you pay off your debt, help you establish a budget that you can rely on and just live below your means.
So if you just happen to be one of those superhuman, frugal savers and saving comes easy for you, there's a good chance that you can actually hone these skills in less than 5 years. But we've had a lot of conversations about money with people around the world and we've identified a lot of their habits. And I think it's important that you give yourself at least 5 years to develop these skills, to see what life throws at you, to see what happens when temptation is thrown your way or when you're forced to deal with a crisis. All of those things are important. It's one thing to have a budget on paper. It's another thing to stick to that budget when the rubber meets the road.
You know, they say that a habit takes 21 days to establish. Well, imagine if you did something for 5 years. There's really no downside in spending 5 years just really focused on establishing good financial hygiene.
So the second phase of the 15-year career is years 6 through 10. And at this point, you've got a job. Maybe it's not your dream job, but it's the job that you were hoping for and you're developing skills. But this is really about finding your superpower.
And this is really about establishing a skill that you can sell or offer outside of your traditional employer to create multiple streams of income. So this could be project management, you could be a really good team leader, you could be someone who is a wizard with Excel documents. It's all about honing in on that skill, upskilling it, and then making sure that you're seeing what the value of it is outside of your traditional employer.
So if you're hired to do one thing, there is a salary cap placed on your skill set. But outside of those four walls, outside of that job, there's an entire world of opportunities and an entirely different set of people who are also willing to pay you to do those things.
So the last sprint of the 15-year career of years 11 through 5 is all about...
You said 11 through 5.
Oh, oops. Years 11 through 15 is all about planning your escape. It's building an exit ramp. It is deciding what the next chapter for your life looks like. You could decide after this 15-year career that you want to just keep going and this is your swan song. You could decide that you want to take a little break and pivot and do something else. You could decide that now's the time to start your own business. The good news is that you've got over a decade under your belt in terms of experience. You've got solid financial habits, and you've got a good safety net to help you before you jump into the next thing. You're not just jumping hoping that the net will appear. You've actually been building the net for 10 years.
It's really about pressure testing how well you can sell and who your customers outside of your job are. So this is where you're taking these ideas and you're creating a product, or you're starting a side hustle, or you're starting a small business, or you're doing any number of things or any combination of those things to help supplement your income so that you're not just reliant on your employer or any one employer for growing your income. And that's so important because it really gives you something to compare it to, and it gives you a growth mechanism, something else that gives you full control to take your income from here to anywhere significantly higher than your current status.
Kind of like going to high school, right? By the time you're a sophomore or a junior in high school, you start thinking about what's your next move. Your career should be managed the same way.